All right, it's Cyclone here, guys. So, quick one here. I'm not going to spend too much time. Our guy's back to doing chapters. Here's what we know. He's on chapter 405 right now. So, Togashi's, it looks like he's done about four or so chapters, at least in storyboard format, and he's on to the fifth one. Now, how I understand this works, and it could be wrong. I think he storyboards and sketches all the chapters, and then before publication, he does an inking, or his assistants do the inking. But he has to do the sketches, and he has to draw out the panels and the characters, and make the skeleton of the piece and make it something. And then his editors will pen and make it final for publication. I believe that's how it works. So, quick comment on this. At the current rate, I could easily see this being designed for a monthly release format. If he can let's put it this way. If he can get through another 12 chapters, if you think about it, right? Let's just even lower. If he gets through another 7 chapters, he will have a year's worth of content ready to go, to be released on a monthly basis starting probably 6 months from now. So in the fall. Sometime at the end of probably October, November time. That's my prediction is this is coming back probably at the end of the year or the start of 2025. That's my prediction. If before that, great, but I don't think so. It would also be a 2-year period since he was back. So looking at that 2-year hiatus compared to a 4-year hiatus, it's half the time. Here's my issue. After that point, now the chapters start releasing monthly. So it will take us from today about 3 to 4 years for us to get through 10 chapters, 12 chapters. So in the next 3 years, let's just say 3 years from now, we will have gotten to chapter 415. 410, 415, something in that range. Depends on when this comes out, right? That's a long time to get a whole batch of chapters. I will say that ultimately a monthly format is better than nothing. What could also be done is that they do a release of maybe quarterly. So we could get 3 chapters per quarter, where maybe, I don't know, again, the publication, you got to think about it, but if they do 3 chapters per quarter, we could get 3 weekly releases of manga every quarter, something like that. Or it's once a month. I think when you push comes to shove, when you're talking about the series, how complex the current arc is, how much content there is, a monthly format is ideal. I'm going to say that, even though it might take us 3 to 5 years to even get through 10, 15 chapters. I'm being realistic, guys. The other thing I thought of, if I was Togashi right now, there's something very interesting he could do. He could do a time skip from Saraidnik's perspective. What do I mean by that? We could see events play out in the manga in a time skip format through Saraidnik's perspective. Imagine seeing events that he saw in his future sight, and then we get to the future and he's avoided all of those issues. He's countered all of those assassination attempts. He's outplayed all of his adversaries. And we go an extra month in the voyage. And he knows Nen Mastery by that point. He has his own Hatsu on top of Time Jump, and his Nen Beast. And we have the deaths of 3 or 4 other princes. And we can do that all within a 10-chapter batch, a rough give or take. That would make the next 3 years of content worth it, because then we could skip ahead to really what we want to see. The main players of the war at each other's throats, potentially the ship sinking and only Floor 1 existing on its own as its own boat, and the aftermath of that. And if we do skip ahead, the winner of the ceremony, or the final 2 contestants, Woble's Nen Beast, these are all huge things I want to see. Woble's little Nen Beast, she could be the deciding factor. Her Nen Beast could literally be something on the level of a Calamity. We don't know. It could be like a fate deciding Nen Beast. We don't know. Because again, Saradnik's all about the future. And how did Giorno counter him? Stopping every action that you do. Any intent to hurt Giorno was nullified. Does Woble's Nen Beast have something similar where, Karapika can't be hurt, or Wobble can, prevent time manipulation of any kind? Something really dumb, right? Something stupid. It could also be a Zetsu based ability, which on the surface would help, but then Saradnik has his ability and can always be in the future. That would be an interesting situation. Long story short, I don't know. Like, we got to see the pace and the release schedule, but I am thinking that at the end of this year, monthly releases will start to happen. And from that point on, we have to just take it as Hunter x Hunter being a monthly release schedule. They said they're changing it, so we know it's not a 10-chapter batch, unless they walk back on that statement. Maybe they're just going to continue the same thing and we get like 2 to 3 years of hiatus, which would suck. I would rather it comes back, we have a monthly release, we can talk about it periodically, and that's my hope. But time will tell. We shall see. Nen Vow, please make something that is somewhat periodic so we can at least enjoy this series before we all go to retirement homes. Anyway, this is better than nothing, guys. Let's take it, and looking forward to the future.